Hello and welcome back to our channel. We're Steve and Audra, a couple from South Florida traveling with our cats in our partially converted DIY camper van. Follow along this week as we explore the New England coast. In our last video, we left you as we headed to the coast of Maine searching for moose, harbor seals, lighthouses, scenic views, and blueberry pie. It's pretty.
Our first morning in Maine, we were disappointed by a forecast for lots of rain. We had planned to spend a day or more at Acadia National Park, but decided instead to do some exploration that was centered a little less around hiking. We drove to the easternmost point of the contiguous United States, West Quoddy Lighthouse in Lebec. It was rainy, windy, and overcast. Not as good for photos and video, but it added to a feeling of authenticity to our experience.
It's not a skit, people. Here, moosey moosey. Here, moosey moosey. Moosey.
We were determined to find a moose.
Come here, moose.
Here, moosey moosey. Here, moosey moosey. Moosey. We then drove south, continuing our quest. We stopped along the way at the many small seaside villages and alcoves to enjoy the views. Because of all the winding roads and numerous peninsulas of the Maine coastline, we could have probably spent days just visiting this area alone. There was so much we just didn't have time to get to.
We were hoping to see fishing and lobster boats coming or going, but we were probably there at the wrong time of day, and every place we stopped was very quiet. We did enjoy the fresh ocean air and seeing the lobster traps and boats that were moored in these areas.
One thing on my list for this visit was to find some good wild blueberry pie, Maine's official state dessert. Yes, that's a thing. I had researched some of the best places for a slice, but unfortunately both places we tried were closed when we stopped in. The closest we got to blueberry pie was this zany roadside attraction we discovered as we were driving through Columbia Falls. Wild Blueberry Land, as it's called, is a celebration of Maine's iconic fruit. What are you doing, old boy?
As you can see, our cats have been champs as we explore. With shorter days, it really takes away from time for exploring. We enjoyed seeing the sunset over the water. Then, with our daylight gone, we headed back to the Ellsworth Walmart parking lot for the night.
We were delighted that we started our next day with some sunny skies. We headed into Bar Harbor before we began our track further south. Bar Harbor has a really nice shore path, so we parked and spent some time meandering along the path, enjoying some more gorgeous views.
Audra, with her green thumb and love for flowers, had to stop and enjoy and photograph these beauties. We had many more towns and landmarks on Audra's to-see list, so we got back on the road. Our next stop was Bucksport, another little town with a waterfront walkway and views of the Penobscot Narrows Bridge. We made some lunch and had a little picnic.
So last night we were going to get fast food, but Steve had the great idea to get a rotisserie chicken at the grocery store, so we had that hot last night. And now we're using the leftovers for sandwiches. And we got croissants in the, I guess you call it like the day-old area at the grocery store, so it was half price, so good savings and healthier meal. And it should be pretty yummy. Bon appetit!
Here, lobster, lobster, lobster. Don't get a juicy little foot. Come on, lobster.
After Steve's unsuccessful attempt at foot fishing for lobster, we headed across the Penobscot Narrows Bridge that boasts the tallest bridge observatory in the world. Being the budget-conscious people that we are, We contemplated going up the tower, but decided against it due to the cost of $9 a person. For us, spending is always about priorities. The lovely roads of Maine. Pretty, but bumpy. But Fatty doesn't mind. Look at little buddy. He's just chilling. He's loving life.
Upon some recommendations that Audra read online, we drove up to the top of Mount Batty. We didn't realize the access for this spot was through Camden Hills State Park. We bit the bullet and paid $6 each to get in, then enjoyed views from the top of Penobscot Bay and Camden Harbor.
Do you want to put it?
We drove down into town and walked around a bit to check out the town and harbor area.
We were able to get a quick peek of the Curtis Island Lighthouse, and then got back on the road in search of some of Maine's best lobster. Red's Eats, in the little town of Wiscasset, was voted Maine's #1 lobster roll 2020 by Down East magazine, so that's where we went. We were fortunate that there wasn't a super long wait, as we've heard the line can get really backed up at times. We were going to try to be funny and get video of us kissing with our masks on, but one of the nice employees came out just at that moment to offer to take a photo.
I got a picture of you guys. Oh, here.
I'll put that
How do I
back
flip
around for
it?
you.
This way?
Sorry. Come on!
It's lobster time. We just bought one lobster roll to share. They're pretty pricey, but kind of a rite of passage when you visit New England, right? Smothered in butter, I thought these huge chunks of lobster were pretty delicious.
How is it?
It's good because they fry the bun, like you do.
We stopped at a Walmart in Freeport that night, assuming we'd be able to park there, but we found that not to be the case. Lesson learned: always call first to check. Thankfully, we had a plan B. There's a parking lot in town specifically for RVs. That's not something you find every day. Thank you, Freeport.
So we stopped at McDonald's to do our business and to get some coffee, and now I'm gonna do some toiletries before we get our day started.
Fatty boy's eyeing up my cereal. Like, are you done with that yet?
Silly boy.
Not yet, little boy. Next up on our adventure, rock formations along the coast of Bailey Island, referred to as the Giant Stairs.
We spent a couple hours here, climbing on the rocks and enjoying the ocean air. What do you think of all this?
It's amazing.
It's pretty cool. But there was plenty else to enjoy.
This is so cool. I didn't see any seals though.
We took our time along the path, stopping to snap photos of some of the wildflowers and other wildlife. There were also a couple boats coming and going, checking lobster traps. Steve especially is intrigued by the fishing life, so we were delighted when we found this little fishing village nearby. Once again, it was quiet, but we still enjoyed strolling along, taking it all in. We made another stop at the picturesque Portland Head Light in Cape Elizabeth. The lighthouse was commissioned by George Washington in 1790 and was also a favorite spot of Henry Wadsworth Longfellow.
Next stop was Cape Porpoise Pier, with more views of the water and fishing boats. This type of scenery never gets old. We watched as a lobsterman was unloading his catch for the day. It was nice to finally see some actual fishing activity going on and observe some of how they do business.
Welcome to Kennebunkport.
Years ago, we had visited southern Maine in the wintertime with some friends and had loved it, so we were really looking forward to retracing some of our steps here. Kennebunkport is a pretty cool little town. Unfortunately, it was raining when we stopped, and we didn't have a lot of time to explore.
How do you like Kennebunkport in the rain?
It's enchanting.
We did take some time to drive along Kennebunkport's Ocean Avenue to Walker's Point Estate, the summer retreat house of the Bush family, which served as the summer White House of George H.W. Bush. It has seen visits by many foreign dignitaries and other notable visitors. The entrance is gated and guarded by Secret Service officers.
We drove through the charming little town of Ogunquit. This had been one of my favorite spots during our visit years ago, so I was disappointed we didn't have more time here. We decided to head to Marginal Way, a scenic walking path along the water. We took a quick sunset stroll. The colors were so pretty as the sun was setting. Our last stop in Maine was Cape Nettic Lighthouse. We got there just as the sky was changing from twilight colors to the darker night sky. We were able to snap just a few quick photos and then had to get on the road because Steve's brother and his family in Massachusetts were expecting us that evening. It's always so nice to get some time with family. This was the first time visiting Steve's brother since they had moved to the area, and we loved getting to see where they live and some of their favorite places. Our niece Gabby performed some of her latest piano masterpieces for us. And we also got to visit our nephew Isaac at the bakery where he works. We tried some huge apple fritters and some folatelli, Italian pastries also called lobster tails. They were absolutely delicious.
This is the shrubbliatelli. This is the one that I said.
It was a lobster tail.
Lobster tails up there, and then this one down here is the shrub.
My family showed us around the area, with some stops at a few of their favorite places, including the Essex Shipbuilding Museum, where we saw a 90-foot schooner built there at the shipyard in 1927. They also took us to a few parks in the area, including Salem Willows Park.
I think Gabby and I are kindred spirits. She loves to look in the tide pools and walk along the shore looking for critters, shells, and other treasures, as do I.
I want to be a fish.
I think we could have both been happy here, exploring for hours.
Audra made sure to dress appropriately when in the Boston area.
Probably the greatest treat and surprise of the trip is that we got to go out on a lobster boat in Gloucester. I had mentioned to our family how intrigued Steve was with fishing and lobstering. Next thing we knew, they were talking to friends of theirs, John and Jewell, who were commercial lobstermen, and they made arrangements for us to join them on their boat. We were absolutely thrilled. As it turns out, that day had been their biggest catch ever. They were nice enough to go back out and take us with them to check some traps and drop some new ones. John, whose father was also a lobsterman, was super knowledgeable and explained a lot about the process and regulations.
So the way this works, the lobster crawls in here to get to the bait. And today we are serving a puree of cowhide with pogies, and there might be a little bit of redfish left in there. So they crawl up in here, they eat the bait. It's easier to go up this ramp than it is to go up this hole. They crawl through here, crawl around in here, then they crawl through here. Pretty much once they get in here, they're caught. So that's a small one. You gonna do your job?
You're not gonna
You
do it?
gotta throw it overboard and say, be free, be free.
Help me?
Now you're nervous?
Last time. You got it.
You got it. Throw it overboard and say, be free.
Be free, Sydney.
Way to go, Gabby.
I was smelling those pogies in my sleep.
Alright, so here's a pregnant. So that's what they look like when they're pregnant.
Wow.
Like this one's been caught before. You see how there's a notch in this tail?
Yeah.
So even after all the eggs are gone, this one can never ever get taken. And that's one of the reasons why we get the real big ones, because she can never get taken. She's going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So they reinstituted the V-notch law back in the late 80s, early 90s, and that's one of the reasons why there's so many lobsters around now. The other thing is they made this gauge bigger. So like, see that one's good? The gauge we had before was a little bit smaller, and it was designed to be the size that the lobster would be the first time it gets pregnant. Now it's big enough that they all get pregnant once before we take them. And it's been 30 years since they changed that, and now there's more lobsters around now than there's been in the last 50 years.
Okay, so you throw one out.
Pick that thing up.
The video?
Yeah.
JJ, what is it, Jay?
They think it's a
Mom,
shark.
A baby whale.
Already. Love it.
Actually, Julie got really good footage of the thing swimming.
Good job,
They're a lot
good
more
job.
agile than
Gloves.
Say bye-bye.
Say
Hey,
bye-bye.
green thingy. Now I want to. If I hold it by the leg, will
I mean, this might be
Oh,
too
so you
small.
stretch it out.
Yeah, it might be too small, but yeah, it'll work.
There you go.
So where do you grab it though? Kind of over their head like this?
Yeah. No, don't.
You pick them up like this, and you just kind of cross the claws like that.
See that?
Bingo.
How do you get it back off? Oh, you did it. Oh, did it?
Oh,
Look
yeah,
at
that
that.
looks like that's going to stay on there for all of
it's
10
not.
seconds. Is that how they do things in Florida?
Yep.
Oh, that's right. The ones in Florida don't have claws.
Look at it. How far up do you put it? Oh, just like, how do you get it? Here, I'm gonna cheat. Get out of
Oh, yeah, you're wicked smart.
No, don't do that.
Now I can just push it up, right?
Yeah, sure. That'll work great. Awesome. Fantastic.
Fine, I'll do it again. Hey, king of sarcasm over here. I can be sarcastic. Now stay on there. Wah!
Come on. Come on now. Is that how I did it? No.
There you go. Right? Is that where it's supposed to be?
Oh.
Look at that. He's a natural.
And you can go right there. Awesome. What is that?
Nice.
Try driving a straight line. And we just take it easy. We have low overhead. Some of these guys got $750,000 boats. You know, they got 3 guys working for them to haul them over. Put the nose of the boat right on that hill.
As the sun was setting, we set some traps and listened to more of John and Jewel's stories. It was a beautiful night and we enjoyed it so much. Thanks so much, John and Jewel.
We took some freshly caught lobsters back home that night and had a feast and some fun as a family. Chef Isaac prepared the lobsters to perfection, and Gabby was diligent in preparing the dessert.
Can you stuff that whole thing in your mouth? Oh my gosh, I didn't think you were gonna get that whole thing in your mouth.
I can't see.
Oh, yeah, keep on. They will.
Soon the lobsters were ready, and we sat down to dig in. Inexperienced lobster eaters that we are, we required some assistance with getting past the shells to the meaty part. One of us enjoyed it more than the other.
Just like pull them apart.
You can do it.
I mean, I'm seeing all sorts of
I just don't feel
dribblies and...
comfortable putting my
Trust me,
fingers
it's
in
fine.
that.
What's that? Every part of it is edible. You can eat all of that. All of that
That
you can
means like the cleanest part of it.
eat. Yeah, that's...
Yeah, but what's the white gunk?
Oh no,
That's
it's
just
like
fat.
that.
It's like how you
It's
eat
like
fat on a
chicken.
steak.
Yeah.
Come on,
nothing.
dip it in butter and eat it. Sorry, my elbow's right in your face.
Oh no, it's fine.
Driving through Boston.
The next morning, we got back on the road and headed south and under the heart of Boston via the central artery known as the Big Dig, completed in 2007 and the most expensive highway project in the U.S.
In 600 feet, keep left to stay on I-93 South.
We had one more New England spot on our list, the Cliff Walk in Newport, Rhode Island. This was another place we had explored when we had visited years ago, and we thought it would make for a nice place to break up our drive. The Cliff Walk is 3.5 miles along the coastline, running through a National Historic District in front of many Newport mansions. Newport is known as a New England summer resort and is famous for its historic mansions and its rich sailing history. It was also known for being the location of the summer lighthouses during the administrations of Presidents Dwight D. Eisenhower and John F. Kennedy. As the sun was setting, we crossed the Claiborne-Pell Toll Bridge as we made our way to Connecticut, where we'd sleep for the night.
They got the bridge lit up like Christmas. Another night, another Cracker Barrel parking lot.
Good morning, everybody. This is how we start our morning, especially on a cold morning, all tucked in. We keep all these windows closed at night to keep the heat in. And then our kitty has been with us all night. She's now at our feet tucked in under the blanket for the day. I'll show you that. Yep, there's the little kitty. Hi, baby. Hi, baby. Usually I beat Steve out of bed and have to crawl over him to get out, but this morning I lounged around longer. Next up, we gotta take Fatty for a walk and have some breakfast. Fatty is patiently waiting. You ready to go for a walk? Huh, Fatty? You ready to go for a walk? Huh? So it's pretty comfortable here in the van. I think we got down to low 50s outside, I think, last night. And in the van, I'll show you here, we've got our little Max Air remote. It tells you the temperature. 62 degrees. Just finishing making the bed for the morning. We don't always make it, but trying to straighten things up today since we have a little bit of a break in travels. We got fresh Concord grapes from my sister-in-law's place while we were there. Some of my favorites. I used to have these at my aunt's house when I was young. Kind you just pop in your mouth. You squeeze the guts out and they're really sweet. Daddy's wondering where his is. He's like, where's mine, guys?
Something else just happened.
I hit a button and it showed Facebook. We hope you're not live on Facebook.
How trippy is this? I'm editing footage you're watching right now. Is your mind blown?
Mine definitely is.
Got a really cool opportunity to go out with Steve this year. It was really fun. Got to eat some lobster. And now we're here. This is Newport, Rhode Island. We're at the...
Ready to go out, little boy? Come here. Come here. Good boy. Oh, that flurf in the way. Oh, it's okay, buddy. Alright, ready? I'll put your little leash on. Good boy. Good boy. Huh? You wanna come out, buddy? What you doing, huh? What you doing, pretty boy? Oh, baby boy. That's a good boy. Good boy. What you doing, huh? Oh, it's a good boy. Oh boy. Alright, we're ready to hit the road. I packed things up and we're gonna head to see some more family. And all buttoned up for the drive. Everything's put away. Little boy's on one of his favorite spots, settled in. Little girl's back here under her blanket. We've got all the loose items tucked away. Curtains up. And you ready to hit the road?
Let's do it.
I do it Dukes of Hazzard style. Alright. I'm ready. And goodbye, Cracker Barrel.
In a quarter mile, turn right onto Quarry Road. In 1,000 feet, merge onto I-95 South.
The end of our trip was drawing near, but we had one more very important stop to make. First, we had to drive past New York City. As we crossed the George Washington Bridge, we were able to get a tiny glimpse of the city's skyline. A little over an hour later, we crossed into Pennsylvania. We finally got to meet our great-nephew. We were able to spend some time doting on the newest little rock star in our family.
Look at that little face.
Hey, Annie, Audra.
And Steve is very proud that he now has proof that he's a great uncle.
Hi, baby. Hey, rock star. Good nature. Can't help but love him. We're on our way home. We've been on the road for almost 4 weeks. We're now in Virginia, taking a different route home than normal. Usually we take 95, but we're on 81 today. Got to see some friends along the way. That was pretty special. Now hopefully we'll see a pretty sunset in the mountains. Our windshield's pretty disgusting with all the bugs we've hit along the way. Our van's probably a little messier from all the days of everything accumulating, getting in and out of the van over and over again. And we're gonna find a Cracker Barrel for the night somewhere in the next few hours, so it's not too late when we pull in. And then tomorrow, the last leg home, heading back to southern Florida. Man, we had a lot of bugs. Superman is good at window cleaning. Imagine hauling that thing. Daddy likes it. Oh my goodness. We've been driving now in traffic over on the other northbound lane. Has been backed up. It's probably been a few miles, right? We're glad we're heading south. Fatty's enjoying the ride. Wow, look at all the traffic. We passed an accident with a tractor trailer. This is crazy. And I think this is the most tractor trailers I've seen anywhere. This traffic is just backed up for miles. Is this the end of it? At least 5 miles. This is finally the end. So we thought we were to the end of this traffic jam. It just goes on and on. I can't imagine being stuck on the other side. We are on the last leg of our trip, about 3 hours from home. Can't wait. It's been a long drive today and yesterday. In case any of you are wondering, Steve does do most of the driving. You've seen him sleeping or driving in all the footage probably. I think he prefers it that way. I think he likes it better to drive for sure. I've offered. I think I drove for about 3 or 4 hours this whole trip. But he is a great driver. I'm glad that he's at the wheel, and I think the cats are too. He does pretty great, and we're all comfortable because he's such a good driver when he's not sleeping. The cats have adjusted pretty well. They've
They don't even cry anymore when we're driving. The first day we started out for our first trip, they probably cried for about a half an hour, and then the same thing on this trip. I think they've gotten pretty accustomed to it, so they're just kind of chilling out whenever we get on the road. Just up until a couple of days ago, they would hide when we'd stop, like at gas stations, and they'd hear people and noise around them, but today they actually have stayed out the whole time. They don't hide. We've had a bunch of people in and out of the van checking it out, and they are doing really great adjusting. We haven't really had issues with cat litter. We got a new litter that works pretty well, so it doesn't smell too bad. They've been doing great walking. Gray's definitely a little bit of a scaredy cat, so I kind of hold her when I first take her out, and she shakes a little bit until she gets accustomed to where we are, and then I usually put her down and she walks a while. She usually sleeps on the bed or on her little cat tower. And Fatty here, he has been hanging out with his mama for a lot of the time, a lot of the trip. His other favorite spot is up in the window. We're not sure what we think about that, if that's safe or not. We'll see if we let him keep doing that. So one of the things we really enjoy about being in the van is that everything we need is right here with us. And it's so nice anytime we need to, just to be able to pull over, kind of stop and take a break, make lunch, even go to the bathroom, versus other modes of travel when you have to get to your destination in order to do all that, like to your next hotel room, or your campsite, or even camping, putting your tent up, tearing it back down, driving again. We have done a lot of driving and a lot of overnights where it's just super nice that we've been able to take our little home wherever we need to go, and it's all right here. It's been really great. We just want to thank you guys for coming along on our adventure. We hope you've enjoyed it. We hope you continue joining us for future adventures and van build videos. We're looking forward to kind of seeing what's next. Daddy thanks you for coming along as well. He's here just chilling. Happy kitty. We think he'll be pretty happy to get home too. So that's it for this episode, guys. See you again next time.